Guys, it's me, it's Queen Said Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Now, when we were talking the other day, I told you guys that every sign has a gift and a plight. Today, I'm going to talk about the plights of every sun sign. I gave you 3, but today I'm just going to go through them and give you all 12. Now, I noticed with this that many signs have more than one. I'm going to give you the one I see the most commonly. So this means that not everybody in the sun sign is going to deal with these things, but it's going to be alarmingly prevalent. Okay? So let's start with Aries. The plight of Aries is their aggression. Aries have a tendency to be very aggressive in nature. Aggression in itself isn't bad. We need a little bit of aggression to get things done, you know? Sometimes aggression is just basically assertion. We need to be more assertive in our lives and assertive in the things that we want to draw into our lives. So aggression doesn't have to be bad, but a lot of Aries struggle with the aggression because it comes out as bullying, as abuse. It can come out in negative ways. So the plight of the Aries is learning how to deal with their aggression in positive ways. That is their plight. So many of them will experience this and struggle with this at different times of their lives. A lot of Aries told me they lose a lot of friends, family members, and sometimes lovers because they were too aggressive when they weren't even trying to be. They weren't even trying to be aggressive, but it's just what their nature is. So that is the plight of the Aries. Now let's take a look at the plight of the Taurus. The plight of the Taurus is fucking being stubborn for no reason. Every Taurus I know deals with being stubborn. Sometimes they tell me they wasn't even trying to be stubborn. They wanted to be cooperative, but they just, something in them just wouldn't let them. So a big issue with Taurus, their plight, is learning how to not be stubborn. Sometimes you have to cooperate with other people. Sometimes you have to compromise with other people. And that's something that Taurus has to learn. So a lot of Taurus tell me it's a common issue for them. So one of their big plights is being stubborn. I'ma say for no reason. They say it's a reason, but I don't think so all the time. I think it's just an inner drive, you know? So a lot of Taurus tell me they struggle with that and they have to get it in check. Again, they end up losing a lot of people and a lot of support sometimes because people don't want to deal with somebody who's uncooperative. Gemini. The plight of the Gemini is being two-faced. Geminis can be two-faced as hell, and that is their plight because it's not like they mean to be that way, but they're two different people. A lot of Geminis are two different people. Like, for example, I told you guys about the guy I grew up with, I went to school with. He was young and old. Some days he would come and he would come around. He wanted to play, kick trash cans, act stupid, you know, play ball in the middle of the university. I mean, he was fun and playful some days. And some days he acted like an old ass man, reading the newspaper, eating turkey sausage, lecturing me about standing up straight. You know, it was like, I would be like, who are you today? He had two totally different personalities. And some of the times, because of that, they can be perceived as being two-faced because one might not agree with the other one. He might tell me something when he's in his playful mood, and when he's in his old man mood, change his mind. So a lot of them deal with being called two-faced, with being perceived as two-faced, because they have two separate people living in the side of their body. And at any given time, you never know which one is in control that day, you know? So Geminis can be difficult in that way, and that's one of their biggest plights. Cancer. The plight of Cancer is they're too overly sensitive. Now, sensitivity in itself isn't bad. I like people who are sensitive and considerate of other people. But it doesn't do that with Cancer. With Cancer, it usually, for a lot of them, makes them moody. And it makes them perceive a slight where there is none. Okay, I've seen Voldemort. Voldemort is a Cancer, and he's the Cancer I knew the most intimately. And I would see him get into these situations with people because they said something to him that he didn't like, but what they said wasn't even that bad. They might have said something, in passing, and he took it a certain kind of way. They're very sensitive in that way. And when you add sensitivity with a mental health issue or a personality disorder, you can get a person who is moody, who's always, snapping on people, treating people cruelly, coming at people's necks because of a perceived slight where there really was none. So their sensitivity has a tendency to make them very moody. And that's their plight. They have to deal with that because it's not something like some of them try to shut it off. They try to detach from it, which makes it worse. You have to find a way to deal with your sensitivity without ignoring it. So a lot of Cancers deal with that, and it's not easy for them. Leo. Leo's plight is dealing with being self-centered. I love Leos. I love Leos. But sometimes some of them can be self-centered. All about me, look at me, what a me. Now the Leos that I personally know, they could, some of them could be self-centered. It depends on the person, Some of them could be self-centered. And it becomes a problem because everything is not about you. And if you're in a relationship with other people, it's supposed to be 50-50. And some of the times they kind of miss the mark on that 50-50 space. Virgo. The plight of the Virgo is nitpickiness, or also known as being picky. Virgos have a tendency to be extremely picky, and being picky in itself is not a problem. You should be selective. You should be choosy, but sometimes they take it to a level where it just doesn't make any sense. I told you about my friend who broke up with this guy that she was seeing because she didn't like the shape of his ears. I have a Virgo friend now, my best friend, my assistant, my buddy. She's so picky. Every time somebody attempts to date her, she rips them apart. And I'm sitting there looking at her, and some of the reasons are good, and some of the reasons are like, seriously? You're just looking at her like, seriously? So they have a tendency to be overly picky at times, and it shows up mostly with their mates. But it's not just that. It can be at the grocery store. I go to the grocery store with Virgos, and I'm in one aisle for 10 minutes, literally 5-10 minutes in one aisle while they're trying to pick between which item that they want. And in a modern grocery store, it's a lot of variety. So you can be standing there with a Virgo forever while they pick through everything. So that's their plight, dealing with that pickiness. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's annoying as hell. Libra. The plight of Libra is indecisiveness. Many Libras are very indecisive. I haven't met one yet that wasn't. They have a hard time with choices. If you give a Libra 7 things and tell them to choose one, they might be there a couple days, literally trying to figure out which one. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be restaurants. It could be birthday gifts. When I deal with Libra, I don't give them no choices. I say, I want to do this. I want to go here. With a normal person, I would say, what about this or this? What do you think about Applebee's or the Outback? Or what about maybe the Olive Garden? With a Libra, I'm just like, okay, I want to go to Olive Garden. I just give them one option, and that's it. If it's their birthday or something like that, I'll say, what do you want for your birthday? They can never tell me what the hell they want for their birthday. So I'll just tell them, okay, I'm just going to pick something. So Libras have a hard time making decisions, and that shit can get crazy if you're trying to do something fast. And Aquarius are swift. We're like, come on, let's go. So it's kind of hard for us dealing with that. So Libras can be very indecisive, and that is their plight. A lot of them deal with that. The plight of the Scorpio is their vindictive nature. Even nice Scorpios have to fight off revenge, getting somebody back who messes with them. They have a very vindictive nature. So it's hard for them, even when they're a really, really nice person. If somebody does something to them, it's a very strong possibility the Scorpio going to get you. At least they're going to try to get you, or they're going to think about getting you, It's hard for them to hold back those vindictive urges. So many of them fight with what I call their dark side. And a lot of them have to deal with that. A lot of them told me that's a big problem for them. The plight of the Sagittarius is being too flighty. The Sagittarius is a traveler, a mover, a shaker. So people have a hard time getting commitments out of them, just like Aquarius, and they have a hard time getting them to like come down to earth. Some Sagittarius are very irresponsible because of that. It depends on the person. But some of them, because of their plight, become very irresponsible. So the flightiness is something they have to deal with. How do you stay open? How do you travel? How do you, deal with your wanderlust, but still have a responsible life? Still be committed to things and people and situations that you want to commit to. So they have to deal with that. Some of the times it's a real conflict inside of them. The need to be free, but the need to do what they got to do. So a lot of them deal with that plight. The plight of the Capricorn is pessimism. A lot of Capricorns are perceived as cold and mean. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're consistently pessimistic. Some people are optimists and some people are pessimists. An optimist is going to see the glass as being half full. A pessimist is like, that glass half empty, I'm thinking, shit, at least there's something in the glass, But Capricorns have a tendency to be pessimistic, and that is their plight because it does make them sometimes very cold, sometimes very mean, and sometimes people just don't like being around them because of that. A Capricorn who's in a good space, it can be a fun person. So that pessimistic nature, they have to really get it in check. They have to balance it because you can't be pessimistic all the time. You have to have some optimism and you have to have some hope, Otherwise, what's the point of even being here? So Capricorns often deal with their own pessimism. Aquarius. I told you guys yesterday, Aquarius have all these damn hidden enemies. All these people who were jealous of us, who were looking at us, wishing they had what we had, wishing they could be like us. Those kinds of energies. And people who you wouldn't even expect to be, coming at you like that. And it happens routinely throughout our lives. So Aquarius have to be careful for hidden enemies. You got to be really careful. Yesterday's video for those of you who did not see it, yesterday's video I talked in detail about the hidden enemies of the Aquarius. You gotta be careful. And last but not least is Pisces. Pisces Pisces plight is escapism. A lot of Pisces have a hard time being on the planet. They don't even sometimes feel like they belong on the planet. A lot of them try to escape, and they escape into these fantasies, these illusions. And it's not good. When you are trying, I understand the need to escape because sometimes we deal with some stuff that's pretty ugly. But when you're escaping reality and not being firmly grounded on the planet, you have a really hard time taking care of things that need to be taken care of, namely yourself. So Pisces have to deal with being more grounded. They have to fight that urge to escape, and it's not always easy for them. It's easy for them to just fall into an illusion. It's easy for them to just tell themselves any kind of illusion that they want to, and other people too. But that escapism is not good. So they have to work around that. They have to figure out how to be grounded, but not be so heavily influenced by the negative energy that can sometimes be around. All right, that was number 12. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who was wondering what is the plight in their zodiac sign. Now, remember, there are more than one of them. These are the ones that I identified. Which plights did you identify in some of these signs? Did you come up with the same ones, or did you maybe come up with different ones? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So please, if you would like to send me a love donation, I'll leave my PayPal. If you would like to sign up for a tarot or an oracle card reading, you can email me. If you want me to answer a question, a free general question, please email me or drop it underneath this video. And I'll also drop my social media from Facebook and Instagram in case you want to hit me up there. I want to thank everyone who has already signed up for our 4,000 subscriber giveaway. I've looked at a lot of them. Make sure that you have fulfilled all 4 requirements. I looked at 2 or 3 of them and they didn't fulfill them all. They only had 1. So make sure you fulfilled them all, because I'm going to look to see if you fulfilled all of the requirements Monday night before I count them up and get them ready to be chosen. I'm going to announce the winner on Tuesday. Okay? See you later.